just want y'all to know, right, that when we start these videos, I always look mad. And it's not because of guests. It's not because I just be in a permanently bad mood. It's because you two these just piss me off. You two of them just piss me off. As soon as we start, let me just say some junk. Mind you, your two besties had a divorce on Twitter. So they're getting divorced. That was a messy breakup all over Twitter. And
who's this? Yeah, she means Elon. That's what is all Twitter. It's all true social till we go and make sure you got the full scope in it. There's a full scope.
Anyways, hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of We Need to Talk. Today we have Nicola representing for Befitment, which apparently has an app. If you followed our TikTok, you know that from our little teaser because I didn't know that they had an app. But you can follow them on Instagram and Facebook. Mm-hmm.
And you can get the app at Google and iOS, Be by Befitment. So you can download the app there.
So, Nicola, yes. How are you? Let's start with that.
I'm good. A little jet lag, but I'm good.
Nicola just came off of the plane, guys. You see that dedication? I keep hitting the mic. I'm so sorry. Not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. When it ring off my ears, that's business. Not you guys. I mean Jared. When I do that, I mean Jared. Sorry to you guys, but not to him. Anyways, what are you doing? Because I feel like if you're doing something dangerous over there.
You will figure that you want to be actually behaving. I know, right?
But you're not, though, and I know that you're not. You're just secretly not behaving. Nah. And Nicola's just sitting on there going, what is happening?
We had a very serious convo earlier, and that would be quick.
A deep conversation about what?
Life.
Would we like to be brought in with the two psychologists that are sitting in front of you?
Nah. No. Nah.
We'll get it out of them at the end of this. So what is Befitment?
So Befitment is basically, we function as a gym, or we operate as a gym for your mind. So we use science, technology, psychology, and ancient wisdom to help people to live at their fullest. Right? So it's combined of a blend of all four of those. And then we have elements of both mental and physical. So we have mental classes, programs, as well as like therapy and stuff. And then we have fitness classes because we know about the mind-body connection.
This fly.
Yeah. It's a thing.
The fly is a pain actor, guys.
Yeah, it's a thing. Just let it be. But so we combine fitness and mental to help persons to become the best version of themselves. That's like the easiest way to put it.
Did you create it, or are you just a part of the company?
So I am the psychologist. I'm the lead psychologist. And then there are others. But yeah, so it's a team of us that came together and got it done.
Okay. So let's hear a little bit about the physical before we go into the mental. I see sometimes that you guys post hikes, gym sessions.
Yeah, so we have weekly fitness sessions. We have hikes, next weekend we have pop-up events as well. So we may have like aerobic sessions. Next weekend we have a fun walk from Macreep to Bamboo Cathedral. Remember Bamboo Cathedral? I made it to the top after all. Pick up those who make it to the top. I don't think I'll ever want to make it to the top.
We did not make it to the top the first
time. And then we didn't go to Macreep when he was there. Mm-mm. Right, Macreep is a beach further down. So
we have a tale about my journeys in Trinidad. But I'm going to let you finish about the physical before we go into that.
So yeah. And then, eventually we would do more stuff in terms of especially getting the youths involved with the fitness aspect of it. But that's what we have going on so far.
Okay. And what about the mental aspect? So you said therapy and some workshops. What type of workshops do you guys do?
So different things. So we do things in terms of becoming unstuck. So, sometimes we have some fears or we feel as though we're stuck in life. We don't know how to get through. So we have different topics. We have stress-free workshops. We have things where people could come and not only mental, but they could come and develop themselves. So etiquette training, business training, because again, sometimes you don't know what to do in the world of work. So we have a bunch of different workshops. Right.
That sounds very all-encompassing.
Yeah.
Do you guys actually want to plan to go international?
Yeah, so that's like one of the reasons for being in Barbados now, because Barbados takes mental health serious. I think y'all take mental health. Yeah.
Jared looked at the camera like,
No, compared to other islands in the Caribbean,
compared to everywhere else
in the Caribbean, y'all, yeah.
We are the leading in infrastructure,
Yes.
in mental health,
Yeah.
in every economic staff, and we all are very complacent.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious.
And it's easily accessible over here. In Trinidad, it is not as easily accessible.
Brother,
It is.
you can't go there, and that is why it is easier to listen to the politician and say when somebody running a house empty the clip. That's actually
Load up the matic.
Load up the matic. Empty the clip.
And when the brutal and criminals come into your homes, I tell you again, load up your matic, light them up, empty the clip.
Than actually find
It's
people
true.
to help.
Yeah. And
Just help people.
a lot of trainees run from it as
We
well.
can't say that online.
Yeah.
We cannot.
With the dolphin. Moving on.
But a lot of trainees, most times you don't get them taking mental health as serious as Bajans do. And that's one of the things I always look at with y'all. Even back then in terms of going to school and internships and things, it's easier over here than in Trinidad. Even finding programs to kind of develop yourself, easier over here than Trinidad. Y'all do take it serious.
Healthcare, tops. Mental health, tops.
Which is...
Where was this in your... No.
break
So you
this.
won't off a cliff? If you were in Trinidad, you would have.
Wait. You don't understand. I literally burnt off my hand. It was what, like a 2nd-degree burn? You saw it. It was like a 2nd-degree burn. We were at a hotel. First of all, he should not have given me water that hot to begin with. The man gave me a cup that was filled to the brim of boiling hot water. And I was walking to the room, and it spilled all over my hand. And it obviously melted off my skin. And we sat down in their hospital emergency room. I never got seen. Mind you, Barbados, QEH, I would get seen like hours later, sure. Maybe the next day from St. Anthony. I never got seen. I sat there forever just dying with my hand just, and it was just like this rocking back and forth. Like, actually crying from the fact that I had a 2nd-degree burn, guys. 2nd-degree burn. You could see all of my flesh just burn away. There was a crater in my hand.
The dons from Laventille say, don't look at shit. She don't work. We got other people's that coming. The holy doctor is tight. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess because your energy wouldn't see it, but if you're on the outside, you would see it. So, like, for us who are on the outside, we could tell the difference in it.
Also, even when I did eventually see a doctor, I had to change my bandages all the time. Like, Nicola had to help me change my bandages. We poured iodine because... Who said that? It was your mommy that had said that? Somebody said that. It wasn't the doctor. Romana's mommy said that. Not even a doctor was like, oh, this is how you clean it. They were like, well, I mean, you could put silver something on it. And I was like, great. Wonderful. Awesome. He was like, I could cut off the extra piece of skin that's hanging if you want me to. Nothing was done with my hand. So we had to go to what's the convenience store.
Superfam.
We went to Superfarm.
Yeah.
And we bought a bunch of cream. We bought iodine and we poured it on.
He cried.
And I cried and nearly punched people because it burned so bad. And then we had to do a layer. And then we wrapped it in gauze. Ourselves. The three of us wrapped it ourselves. And every day I had to change it by myself. No painkillers. Just death.
So what here is
No, here bad, but the other Caribbean islands is ghetto.
I wouldn't know about the other Caribbean islands because I would have experience, but I haven't experienced. Let me just say haven't because it sounds like I want to and I don't want to. I've never experienced Barbados healthcare in that sense in the hospital and stuff.
We get through.
Yeah,
we might have to wait a really, really, really long time, but we get through and it's free.
Oh, it's free too. We get through. I've seen some experiences as well with some people. They sat there and no doctor came, but yeah,
Right?
just leave it as yeah.
I don't ever remember my time in QVH. Ever.
But you were there.
Fam. My doctor sent me because he thought my
I'm the number
appendix
one QVH
was
hater,
swollen.
but still.
I sat down. I told him, man, what he doctor, he gave me a letter from the doctor. It was like, cool, just sit down. I was just sitting down. When I think get blood test, sit down. You know how I started to get see? One of my friends that passed away, that particular day was on. Jared, when you were here, show she letter. Oh, they want my friend today. No, on my watch. That's when they started getting through. If it was, and you know what time that was? 10:30 p.m. I got there at 10:45 a.m.
That usually happens in Trinidad too. It's a long wait. You do get C in some cases, but it's a long
That
wait.
is why I put myself in $10,000 worth of debt to get private care for my appendix. Can you just see me crying inside of my soul?
You see, but the issue is that the only medical facility we have in Barbados is still QEH. No matter what, you have to go to QEH. Once it's bad, you have to go to QEH. You can go
Same
to
thing
anywhere
in Trinidad.
Yeah.
Same thing in Trinidad. Once anything they send you to the public hospital.
So it's like, well, I mean, it can sort of help, but I just only get the QH on Wednesday, so you gotta wait till Wednesday or we can just send you there. No, usually you got to go. But ain't gonna QH all the way.
So yeah, but
Mental health.
y'all are
We have more
one of the top in the Caribbean.
psych-
Or
Yeah,
probably
you
the
know
top.
what,
Yeah.
everybody in Barbados will complain. No, we are the most complacent island in the Caribbean. We just complain about the roads. Every place in Barbados is accessible.
Mm-hmm.
Go to any other Caribbean island with a slight mountain. If you go from here 3 miles out, in another Caribbean island, you have to go all the way around. It's a 30-minute drive. In Barbados, 5 minutes. We can complain about that. In Barbados, we have here. Oh, we can't wait long. We go. Oh. So everybody that's trained in that's everything. Just want to come in.
Yeah.
The best engineering. The best mental health. The best economy.
You're getting too close to my phone and you're gonna mess with the sound.
I don't want to say least corruption, but let's not get into that political dynamic because then some people from other places can want to say
And then
certain.
you just ignored me. Yeah, but no, you gotta say again because you're gonna cut out that part. Because I just said, get away from my phone, you're gonna corrupt the sound.
Yeah, we can keep going.
You right?
We'll fix and pause or something.
We can't fix it and pause. Guys, can we stop being chaotic for 1 minute?
She literally asked before for we to talk and communicate.
I
And
said
then know when we
communicate. But the thing is, right, because you guys can't see Andre, we are working on that, by the way. We're working diligently to get a second camera so that you can see the boys, so that when they're being chaotic, you're not just seeing my face.
So
I know
you
that
can
y'all.
see Andre.
I know that you guys love to see. You see, right? What happened with the rally video? I had to cut out so much footage
No.
of him just holding it, moving around. I was so nauseous. I'm so sorry, Nicola, but like.
Or is nauseated?
Nauseated.
Yeah, okay.
Don't let them frustrate you. That's it. Boys being boys.
Boys being
Yeah.
boys.
Did you just try to grammar police me with a sentence that you can't say either way? I was so nauseous. Okay, we're done. I am finished. I am absolutely over this episode, and I'm not talking to them anymore. Right, Nicola. So mental health in Trinidad and Tobago. Does Tobago even have mental health practitioners?
Yes, they do. Yeah, you can't do one without the other.
You never know if they're like down the ferry and
Nah, they do. So they do have mental health practitioners as well. In terms of me, I'll have to do some more research in knowing exactly what takes place in Tobago, because I more know about Trinidad. Yeah.
Okay, so talk a little bit about Trinidad and how it is with their mental health.
We like to pretend like it don't exist, when in fact, when you look at behaviors, it shows that some things there need some tweaking, some beliefs need some tweaking, because from even my personal experience, you would have learned that certain behaviors, most times it have a deeper sense of something to it, and most times we tend to bypass that. So like, we do a lot of work as well with youth. So we have something called B Squad. It's B Squad Initiative, and it's a club for youth. So we work in different schools, as well as every third Saturday and the Monday would come. And then in talking to them, you see as well that some of them even give up on life already. And these are 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds that they
Is this Gen Alpha? Those are the
I have no idea. Listen,
Alphas?
I know Gen X. I don't even know which one I am. I
You're
know
a
not Gen X, Gen Z, which
You're
is
a
one.
millennial,
I
and
don't
Gen
know the
Z
others.
is right after us.
Right. Yeah, that's all I know. But for the
Old.
most part, yeah. That's
The
okay.
oldest person in this room.
But yeah, they give up on life. But what I would say though is they do acknowledge that things need to work on, because even in talking to them, you would see that they would get quiet and they would listen to certain things. They would pay attention. They would try certain things. They would come and ask you certain things. Or Miss, I know a friend, sometimes it's probably them, but Miss, I know a friend who dealing with this, how to deal with it. So we get in there one step at a time.
I actually feel like Asian children are the opposite. They're so hard-headed and they hate acknowledging pain.
Trinidadians too, so they would run from it, but what I have noticed with them is when it hit a spot, they would listen. Because I remember like one of them was talking to her and she was like, Miss, we just be hearing everything all they're saying. She was on her phone. She said, no, we just be hearing everything all they're saying. And I feel like in their quiet time, they would work on what they need to work on, and then you would see the changes in behavior. Because they would come, I remember they had one and she was cutting. She was suicidal. She was on suicidal watch. And in the last conversation that I had with her, she was doing better. So there's some of them still had it, but they pay attention and they would do what they need to do in their quiet time. What I have noticed is sometimes it's difficult for them though, because they have to go back to a home environment. It's like you're fighting a losing battle sometimes. But then again, you let them know that the situation is the situation. It's your response to the situation that would make all the difference. So yes, your parents could be fighting like cat and dog every day, but then you could do certain things that it's no longer affecting you. And And it comes down to, from what I've learned too, it comes down, you let them know, it comes down to just accepting the situation for what it is. Acceptance don't mean that you like the situation, but it means that this is what it is at the moment. And it don't mean that it's going to last, because everything changes. So, but this is what is going on in the moment, and these are the things that I could do to help me deal with it, so that I'm not down and out the way that I would usually be, and not cutting to deal with it. So, all right, they're arguing. Let me go outside and kick some ball. Let me go outside and play some football. Let me go and write in my journal, because writing helps. Let me talk to a friend. Let me do something else. So yeah, I've seen that with them.
I do see some changes in the ones that are sad versus the ones that are angry.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, yes, we've been taught that underneath the anger there's all sorts of emotions. But last year I was working with a program that we have here. It's a summer camp program, and they were having psychologists go to these programs and just do like little workshop stuff with them.
Yeah.
And these children, I just spent most of the time being a camp counselor just yelling, like, could y'all stop talking, stop doing all the things. And it wasn't like I wasn't doing activities that was for them to like move around and have fun and be loud.
Yeah.
It was more like, y'all don't want to listen to anything. And then when you try to get them to listen, it's boyfriend this, girlfriend this, and that's all they're studying, and they don't want to do any activities that you want to do just to be defiant. It's not even that they don't want to do it because it's not a fun thing to do. It's just to be like, no, I don't want to do it because you're telling me to do it. Are you asking me to do it? And like you said, they have given up on life. They've given up on school. They've given up on the mental health aspect of it. Sometimes it really feels sucky to be a therapist dealing with children, because you see the pain, you see, as you said, them having to go back to their families and deal with that. And it's just like, we only have them for like an hour. If we do a workshop, it might be longer, but most of the time we have them for like an hour, and then it's just
back to
so how do you do work with them? Like, a lot of them are so troubled. Most of the people, in fact, they were all different schools. It wasn't even a particular school, because I was about to say it was a particular school, but a lot of them go to various schools, and it was just about fighting. Everybody wanted to fight to prove something.
Okay. What I saw with them, meet them where they at. Because what I usually tell them is, and what I've noticed as well is, you would never get them to sit quiet. You would always have a group that's talking. You would always have the group that's paying attention, but you have to bring it back ever so often. And when you meet them where they at, like I remember once I was explaining to them, what was I explaining to them? Something about life. Can't remember the example right now. And you could hear a pin drop in the room, from people talking to everybody got quiet. So I've noticed, meet them where they at. Hit them with the things that they know, and let them for themselves see the consequences, see the things that they're doing. So, because each choice that you make now, each choice that you make anytime have a consequence, regardless of whether you don't want to believe it or not. If I decide to hold this now, there's a consequence to holding it. My hand shaped like this, whatever it is. So when they notice that, and they realize as well that, you know what, it have life beyond this age that I am now, and these things that I'm doing now could affect me in the future, this stuff. Because I remember, like, just this week I was letting them know, I said, what legacy you want to leave in school? Like, what do you want the teachers to remember you by? And you do know that after school you have to come for recommendations or references from some of these teachers. And these children faces was like, for real? So then they realized, but wait, so we need to kind of stop get trouble, because I have myself in a mess. Or you let them know, even in terms of like life and the things that they would run down. So like most times, especially in Trinidad, we have a culture now where most people, they on the weed and the alcohol and the gold chain. You know, you let them know that it have more to life than that. I remember one asked, and he was like, "Miss, buying a gold chain is an investment." And I was like, tell me how. Like, how you making back on that? You have it around you. Like, if somebody steal it tomorrow, by how you make back the money. And you can see he stop and he think about it. And I think like the thing with a lot of them is as well the guidance. And they get carried away in the things of the world, believing that that is what it is. And I feel like back in our day, we know to watch a show and know a show is a show. Or we will know this is just music. It don't mean that I have to do what they're saying in this song. But damn now. But it's just meeting them, using the things that they like, and then bringing it in, and they would stop. One tried to argue a point in terms of, so what if you're paradise in the environment? I say you don't have to become a product of your environment. I say if everybody jumping off the cliff you go into, and then he stopped like, oh yeah boy. So you could make a different choice.
What about the ones that are hypersexual?
Usually when it comes to that, I usually let the parents deal with that, because again,
What if the parent is coming to you and they're like, I don't know what to do.
And
My child is going down. They're smoking at school. They're drinking at school. They're skipping classes. The grades are already below all the things. And you're doing everything. Stealing, fighting, whatever. And then you find out. Now I know that they're having sex. They're doing at school, planning to skip school to do this. This is the last straw. I'm bringing them to therapy, bringing them to the workshop, and then you just sit on there as a therapist and you go, what do you want me to do about it? So what do we do about it?
well, then in that case is based on the child and based on that child's self-love and that child's self-worth. It boils down to love and how you view yourself. And if you don't view yourself, or you don't see yourself as worth nothing, automatically you would make choices without even thinking about it. It comes like second nature. You would naturally do things to keep you in that space, to help you gravitate, because when you do that, it kind of validates how you feel on the inside and thing. So not mine, but Befitment advice would be channel that self-love in your child and allow them to see themselves as worth something, because about 100% of the time that is what it is. Because if you see yourself as you're worthy, then naturally you would do things that you're not going to damage your body. If you know that you're the prize, why would you do things to damage you if you know I am the prize? If you get what I mean. Think about, I always use the example of men and cars. A man would clean a car every single day, and the car don't need to clean because he loves this car. He have something for this car, and he would take care of it. And it's the same thing with people. When you love yourself to that extent, you would do the best for you. I mean, sometimes the best may mean that you have to do some things that you might, I don't want to say you wouldn't be proud of, but it might be a challenge. So sometimes the best may be that you have to do something that is challenging, but you know that at the end of the day, I'm doing this for the greater good of myself. So when it comes to the youth, it's about just channeling that self-love and that self-belief, because I remember I was working with some boys, and they had an activity to do, and most of them said they wouldn't amount to anything in life. They're not good at schoolwork and stuff. And then I was talking to the social worker, and I was letting her know they have to do a mindset shift. Because if you don't believe, again, that you're good at it, you're naturally not going to try to fight up to do schoolwork, because I'm going to fail maths anyway. So what is the point in putting in the effort behind it? So it was about, learning to see that even though math's difficult, I could get it done. And even though maths may be difficult, there are other things that I'm good at. So channel the other things that you're good at. So then you could see yourself as, yeah, but I'm good at something, Because we always tend to see the negative about ourselves. Fast, quick. We tend to and beat up ourselves on the negative. But we have so much positive about us. And I's a chocolate cake, you's a cake with sprinkles, he's a fruit cake, you are a marble cake. And we always want to be the same cake, but we are all different. Okay, sorry, y'all are men, I shouldn't say y'all are cakes. Sorry, but you get what I mean? Okay, if we use colors, I'm blue, you're green, you're red, you're white. We different, but we live in this world where we all want to be the same. And we are not the same. I'm sorry for calling y'all man cake.
Derek is going down in history as the fruit cake. Just so you guys know, that is never going anywhere. Jared, aka fruit cake, forever. Forever.
Nicknames.
Forever.
Fruit cake is not one of them.
Forever.
My list of nicknames is too long.
Yeah.
And one does get added every year.
You said
Well, the fruitcake get added this year.
No, that one get that.
Jerry, aka Fruit.
Sorry. But yeah, we live where we all want to be the same, and it's understanding that we all unique. The uniqueness is what makes the world go wrong. So again, it's even that in your children, letting them know that you unique in your own way, and that's fine.
I got a controversial question. We gotta spin this. So, consequences. You talked about consequences before.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that it's such a trivial thing, especially I feel like in Barbados, for you to teach children specific consequences. So I just brought up sexual stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, personally, as a therapist, you have the right to teach a child about STDs, STIs?
I think it's something that you bring up with the parents first, because again, it's not your child, so that boundary is there. And if the parent is okay with it, you let them know.
But are they bringing the child to you for you?
But then you let the parent know that this is the direction that it's going to go. And you let the child know. You don't have to get into the nitty gritty and go down into all the details. But you can let the child know that there are certain things that when you get it, there is no cure for it. You could die from it. You could. So it's about making those positive choices. What I've learned as well is we are all individuals. You can't force somebody to make a choice. You could give them the information, but they still have to make that choice at the end of the day. So yes, we want to save everybody, and we want everybody because again, I feel as psychologists as well, we tend to see the bigger picture, and we tend to be like, if you just do this, things would be so much different. But then it's learning that person still have choice, and that person could decide not to do it. And
we have to watch people make horrendous choices and just
yeah,
sit there and go.
and yeah, it's a tough thing as psychologists, but because that was something I had to learn. You want to save everybody, and you had to learn you can't save everybody. I could give you the information, but you have to care and love you enough to.
Or at least saving everybody looks different.
Yeah.
Everybody isn't gonna go the path that you
yeah.
want them to go. It might be the best path, but it's the path of least damage. That's what we aiming for. So for them, it might not. If you're a teenage, what do we call them? Client. I was one of my patient. If your teenage client comes out with an STD and maybe one baby and 2 CSCs, that's better than them not coming out with any in jail on death row.
Depend on the STD. If it begin with A, it bad. All the rest,
But then I feel like in life is about the journey. So sometimes it's a matter of they have to go through it to learn, to experience whatever they have to experience. Because sometimes you would get people that would say, because this happened, now I know how to deal with this differently. And that's what I mean by being their saving grace too. Sometimes they have to go through what they have to go through to make them stronger. So yeah, we want to save everybody, but I had to learn to take a step back.
How do you tell that to the parents though? Because sometimes the parents come and they go, no, she's about to make this mistake and I don't know, help me fix it. In the middle of the night, they're just sending you messages.
Sometimes it's plain talk bad manners. You may not like it, but at the end of the day, that's the truth. If that is what it is, that is what it is. Again, we live where we want everything to suit us, but sometimes that is not how it goes. So sometimes it's a matter of letting the parent know that this child probably needs to do this to understand this, as tough as it may be. But again,
and if they end up in jail, that's okay.
Because
hopefully it's not from murder.
And I've heard stories of people who went to jail and they changed their life around. Yeah. From being in jail, I've heard stories where I remember I knew this one guy.
Disagreeing.
I knew this one guy where it had a hit out on him for him to die, and he really and truly still alive because he was in jail. And then by the time he got out of jail, the people who wanted to kill him was dead.
That is
crazy.
Yeah.
It just happened.
That's a great.
But we've seen this happen.
Yeah. So sometimes we tend to, because we have this thing of, we're going to jail is bad, but sometimes going to jail is saving your life. I remember I had a client as well and she went to jail. But in her going to jail, it was more so in terms of self-defense. But the period that she didn't stay that long, but the period of time that she was there, she was able to save her cellmate. If she wasn't in the cell, the lady would have died. So sometimes it's a matter of you have to sit down in jail to save somebody else. So it don't mean that being in jail is a bad thing, because you're there for a purpose, you're there for a reason, as with anything else in life.
There have to be prisoners, guys. Someone has to be in jail.
Alright, let me rewind real quick.
Mm-hmm.
You were saying, well, everybody wanted to be the same.
Yeah.
My curious question is, do you think the rise of the social media is that part of the reason why everybody got this whole idea of everybody want to be the same, everybody want Mark, don't be the same path?
Yeah, I believe social media have a big role to play in it. Social media and lack of identity. And I feel like if you don't have identity, you're like a leaf floating around. So if the breeze blow you here, you go there. If the breeze blow you here, and if you not taking time to stop and get to know yourself, you just fall into anything. So you don't really like, let's say for example, you don't really like partying, but every night you're in a party because your friends going party and you're not taking time to stop and realize that this is not really me, I like to sit at home and read a book, and that's fine.
That's most people. Most people don't like the things that they say that they like.
Yeah.
Most people that say, oh no, no.
You don't.
You don't.
Yeah, and then
You don't. And the stuff you don't, you actually don't like it. You take to like it, but you influence to like it.
yeah, because social media, and because okay, if you're doing this, you're looking like you have some kind of status in life. If you're doing this, so you need to run it down. And really and truly, some people you're miserable and you're unhappy.
But, I guess for me, that's ain't going to learn anymore. Like,
But no, it is almost impossible in real life for people to learn it on the more.
It's not just
It's not-
learning it on
I
your
don't
own.
think it's impossible. I think it's actually sitting and having a.
Yeah, but
Well,
you have to have something that's gonna force you to be retrospective. Most people don't have that earth-shattering thing happen in their life where they have to sit down and go, how do I be a better person? Like, yes, unless you literally get sick, like you yourself, not just somebody else getting sick. If I get a death sentence, essentially, with something, I then go, how can I live the best possible life that I can live for me, right?
Or worse.
That too. But how can I try to figure that out for myself? I feel as though if you don't have something that shakes your world, you're never going to be like, okay, maybe I don't like these things. Maybe I need to change this part of my life to be better. Because as Nicola said, I could be going out every single day and I could be partying because that's what all of my friends are doing. If all of my friends are doing it and I just want to fit in, I'm never going to sit down and go, do I actually like partying, or am I just doing this because something happens, like God forbid, you get assaulted or attacked or whatever. Let's use both words. And you now are afraid to go out. That earth-shaking thing, that life-shaking thing has now put you in a place where it's like, okay, before, maybe I didn't actually like that. Maybe I preferred to sit down and, like, you now have to go to therapy and work through all of that. But then you have the opportunity to go, maybe I don't want to get back out to partying. Sometimes it could even be just aging. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there has to be something that changes in your life for you to go, how can I make myself better? It's not just
wake up in the morning and decide to do.
Because
And
most people don't want to sit down and change their life.
And I
So
feel
agree.
like
It's
I
all
think-
the point. I was that agree.
it's that, and it's a combination too, because sometimes the earth-shattering things happening and you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
You get an accident about 6 times before you realize, all right, time for me to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it's not on the first occurrence, because like that was my example as well. I went through a heavily depressed period, and then I had to decide within myself, this is not it, and this can never be it. This, I ain't come here to be like this. And from that is what made me sit and start to pay attention to myself and the things that I like, and you make different choices. But then again, most times, again, as we were saying earlier, people don't want to experience the pain. They view pain as something bad, but I usually tell people, go through the pain, because at the end of the pain, rain not going to fall forever, the sun going to come out, and then it's a better feeling when you know that, okay, before this was bothering me, and this could be here, and I'm not affected by it anymore. Life is so much lighter and nicer when you go through the pain and you face the things that you have to face.
See, that was the reason why I asked part of that question of like going through stuff, because like there were the points in my life where I lived in the party, and when my life was just like, I might be late for the party, but I don't like to be in a party that much.
Yeah.
I can't really think of all like that, because when people go through the pain and then realize that they're healing, sometimes they feel like they're losing part of their identity. Yeah. So it's like, oh, I was.
Growth is uncomfortable.
So to use his example, if somebody like actually don't like partying, like their character isn't, but they're good at being in the party.
Yeah.
As they realize, yo, I don't like partying. But that was such a big part of me. That was what a lot of people like gravitated towards.
Yeah.
Then it's just self-sabotage. Then just
yeah,
I jump back into it because I see it all the time, like then I laugh because you can't do nothing to help them.
It's a quality scalp. Like there's the point where you can know like you go scalp and all this.
Yeah.
And enough forget they say down parking. I remember this down parking. I don't want parking no more. But I used to live in a very yes or no, never the middle.
Yeah.
It's down parking. And it was I think probably the last event that I went to before you realize it's not like don't like partying, it's not like partying too much in a consecutive.
Yeah.
I went to a couple fests before. I went over that year, and I was just like, everybody know me as being late for the party. Let me wait out. And my realization that I was doing shit, this one time, I went to sleep on the stage. Don't know how I get on the stage. I don't know how I lost the man. I just know I was sleeping on the stage. And everybody cut to me like,
I was there.
Cut me jerk okay? I like, wherever I was okay, the response I was, nah, I'm not nearly okay. This is a problem. It took a couple of months to realize, this is what I gotta do. Of course, everything opposite, which is that I threw myself into work to a ridiculous degree, but it helped me find a balance socially to some degree.
Yeah.
It's party 3 times a year.
I was on the stage. First,
you remember
it's kind of playing Jared, right? Which is seem weird because he's a whole 6'7".
Turn it to you while you tell this story so that we have a TikTok video telling this story. Yep. Good.
So yes, can't find Jared in a party at all. Which is weird because he's a full 6'7" and 3/4. Yeah.
The 3/4 matters, guys.
It matters when they watch you, but then
the 3/4 matter in every sense, I guess. For all the men out there. Yeah, so it's kind of like Jared at a party. He's got lost, like he just disappeared in the crowd somehow. So at this same event, at finish, we all looking to go and depart, go home, everything. You think we're Jared? But we used to Jared being lost. But we found him faster than we normally do. And that was a problem. Because somebody had pointed, wait. That's you guy? What part? On the stage, by the DJ, sleeping on the floor. It's like,
I don't know that he was sleeping.
I just snored.
How did we really know that he was sleeping, guys?
Jared is. It's hard to miss Jared when he's sleeping. He just go from.
But if you're on a stage and there's a fact going on, how can I hear you snoring?
You just ever see like a break dancer do the move where.
The actual videographer, please.
You just ever see a break dancer do the move where it's like. Your chest and everything? Yeah. Jared does. Inhale all the oxygen from his surroundings. So it's going for like. And he's like. And just. You can tell. Let me just say you can tell. You could You can tell where he's sleeping, and he's got the mouth open, like, and you can just like see. And once again, there's a duvet, so foam and everything just. I just, I was like, yo. The issue was no, that I take first. That was. He was also looking at somebody keys, car keys. So
one boys that lost the car keys in the
So we had to make a lot of decisions that night. Well, morning at that time. We had to make a lot of decisions. We just decided to leave Jared there for a little bit, try to find his good keys, and that never worked. It was there.
It was true.
It was there.
And also, I don't wake up easily. So when I do wake up, I am very groggy and I get very annoyed. And not like a little bit annoyed, nigga. Like,
Yeah.
when I wake up and I wake me, I was just like, we getting on?
Nah,
we gotta look for keys.
man, look at my keys.
I just don't be on these kids sleeping. I was like, yo, this is like, yo, problem for real.
Yeah, man, look at my keys. That was like.
Yeah, that was really what experience of that is. It gotta stop because, and the thing was, even then, I had stopped partying for. I had the black and white moment was between 2014 and 2016, partying every event you could imagine. I was probably in it.
Yeah.
If it was like going with friends, I had just started photography, so like man would be like come in and take pictures and then party. So like I ain't gonna pay to get fat. So taking pictures, and I still get to walk up. Really for me. Many nights came home, and I'll never forget the worst one was going from that event called Valhalla. It was like Valhalla Father's Day. Father's Day night time had another event, and I said, yeah. From Father's Day to work a whole week, and then
I like how Father's Day sounds like an event. Like he was partying so hard. Mind you, Derek is not a dad at all. But
He was celebrating.
But he was celebrating.
You see, you ready to actually have a child to be a father. Once you come in contact with children, you're a father because you would have given them some piece of advice and insight and something. So same thing with mothers. You don't have to be make a child to be a mother. Once you work, you're a mother because you work with youths and you help them. You nurture, and mothers nurture. That's the nature of being a mother, nurturing. So once you nurture, you're a mother.
He doesn't have any children whatsoever.
but it was like that, and then like a whole week of work, barely sleeping, and that weekend again with a string of parties from Friday to Sunday again. And I remember the last event, me and partner was like, yo, you might get sleep. No, I was like, will I wear me? I don't even work. I slept. Let's let the entire work here. Nearly got fired.
And this is why he doesn't have that job anymore.
No, it's not a job, I think. It left the job though.
Right.
But a different party.
For a different reason. You never get into that story either.
Yeah, I feel like you always have that one thing. You always get to that point of, let's say, fed up. To that point, and that's what make you change. And I want to tie it back to what he was saying in terms of like, you go to that space of self-sabotage because we cannot tend to form attachments to the thing. So we tend to form attachments to and believe that our identity based in the partying, but it's more than that. And what I would have learned is that when you lose something does always come. So even if you're stepping away from it and in the moment you feel like, I don't know who I am without this, continue pushing and continue going because what is supposed to replace it would come.
I know a friend that lost a leg and lost weight at the same time. Coincidence?
Anyways. So
something would always come to fill that space, that void.
No, thank you so much. Thank you, Andre.
Whether it's a person, place, or thing would come to fill the void. So continue pushing.
Like to think you couldn't have been tired enough. If not, you wouldn't have made that. Like, if not, you would have made the choice to be different.
I wish.
I feel deep within my soul, and that is from working with people with addiction. So it's a biased belief. This is not a psychologist belief coming out. This is Simone just talking. You weren't sick enough of what was beating your ass over and over. If it was beating your ass enough, you would have stopped.
You know what? I'd be glad that Andre here, because Andre has watched all of this.
if it was beating your ass enough, you would have changed it. The facts was up beating you ass enough. You wasn't getting beat enough. If you... This sounds like if you're talking about domestic violence, guys.
I was saying.
I really needed to reel it back there. But when you're doing drugs and you're doing alcohol, all sorts of drugs, when it starts to beat you back, say them is run to rehab, and then just be like, all right, I forget the pain that was there beating my ass, so I could go back to it. And then what's happened is be ass again, and then just go back to rehab again. Until you are tired enough of getting your ass beat.
So again,
you ain't gonna stop.
As I was saying, there was all the party and they stopped for when that was that number.
You forget the pain. You forget that it was beating you ass.
I disappeared for a little bit. But it was the point where it was.
He understand.
No, I understand. And that's when I remember. It was that one sleep that made me realize, yeah, this back.
And when
that's
when you get enough
on the
licks.
stage, you was like, yeah, I done getting my ass beat, and I done. This is not worth it. There comes a point where your brain has to go, you know what? This ain't worth all that I going through.
I know people that.
It don't matter. It never stopped. Never.
To death.
And
To death.
Literally to death.
Guys. Exactly. They were not tired enough of getting their ass beat, and Def said, you know what? I'm tired of watching this.
I think that sometimes it's that, and then at the end of the day too, you form an attachment to it. An attachment, even with drugs, alcohol addicts, you form an attachment to this stuff, and attachments are very hard to break. Because when you form an attachment to something, you feel as though you cannot live without it. And I can talk from my personal experience. I was like, used to feel like I cannot live without this. And even when you try to put a gap in between it, so you would leave for a little while, and then you're like, I need it back, and you get to that space, but then it's about realizing that, you know what, before I had this, I was surviving. So even if you start to drink alcohol at the age of 10, before the age of 10, you wasn't drinking alcohol and you were surviving. So what make you feel you can't survive without it? Now, it might be difficult to break the attachment because the amount of years that you have it, the longer it's there, the stronger the attachment. But you could survive it. You could push through. Yeah. And it's the fear and the uncomfortableness.
The fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
You know what it is like to get your ass beat constantly, and you don't know what it is like to stop.
So you just go back.
So you were so attached to being like, you know what, this might be uncomfortable right now. This pain might be so bad, but at least I know what it is giving me. Yeah. When I have to step out to that and go, you know what, it's time to heal. I don't know what healing is. Like. I don't know what it can look like. And I go do all of this on a flight. I don't have a guidebook for how to go through life. Absolutely not. I can tell this ass beating every day.
And that's true. It's the fear. It's the fear of who am I? What am I outside of this? Not even what. Who am I outside of this? Outside of the party or outside of the hairstyle? Outside of the alcohol? Whatever it is that you form the attachment to. Person, place, or thing. Because you form attachments to places. You form attachment. Like this water bottle. Oh my God, I love this water bottle so much. The water bottle ready to head to the garbage.
But over.
But you form these attachments and then it's like, how am I to survive without this?
You can't survive, guys.
Yes,
you can't survive.
Understanding that you could, because it was there. You came, first of all, by the time you enter into the world, you entered without it. So you were surviving. So what make you feel that you can't survive outside? And what I've learned as well, because you were saying life don't have a guidebook, sit within yourself and the answers will always come. It's always come. Sometimes we don't want to listen to what the answer is. We want to do our own thing, but the answers has always come to help guide you along. Yeah, whether it's breaking an attachment, the answers has always come. Because I remember, like, same attachment I had to break. I remember sitting and journaling, and in the journaling, I like to journal. In the journaling, I was like, but wait, Nicola, you unreal sharpness. You create this in your mind. You have all this fear. You going through all these things for this thing that you create in your mind that's not even real. And that was the aha moment for me. And I cried. The night I real cried. And then I woke up the other morning and I was like, yes, stop this sharpness. Behave yourself. Come on, let us go. You did not have this all these years before and you were surviving. What make you feel that you think? Yeah, and from that I never look back. And this was something I had in my... Listen, it was beating up. It was more money saying it had me depressed as well. Because every time you want to think you don't know how to function without it. You believe that this is what it is. And I had to realize, child, this is something you create in your mind. You form this and it's not real. So you could get it done. And with anything that you're going through in life, you could get through it. Getting through it, it may be a rocky road, but you could get through it. And you walk the road because every step that you make is for a purpose. Every step that you make, it have something there for you to grow, because life is about growth. Life is not about remaining stagnant. Because if you remain stagnant, think about it like a car parked up in the yard, you will decay. You would just wither down into nothing. So life is always about the change and enjoying the experiences as it come. But we like to hold on to I don't really like to use the term good and bad. The experience is the experience. Your perception is what would make it good or bad. The experience is the experience. You experience it and you move on from it.
Say experience one more time.
Experience. But yeah, you experience it and you move on from it. Again, we like to hold on to the experiences as well and form attachment to the experiences.
Derek, you got insert the clip of
Experience.
Kendall Jenner going when you realize you made the realization to realize that clip. You got to insert that every single time to go say
experience. But yeah, that's what it is. Life is a big experience. You go through it. You don't always have to. You may not always enjoy the things, but you know that in the things there's a purpose for it. So the pain is there because if life was always happy, and you're always on this high, you would have got burnt out. If life is always sad, and you would get depressed. If life is always something, always angry, well then you just function in frustration, confusion. But all of them is functioning in confusion and comments. So the different feelings that they're there for balance, they're there to make it fun and enjoyable. Because me personally, if I happy, I would. I don't think I could. Okay, let me don't say that. Let me use joyous, because happiness to me happiness is regardless of what happening. You know that you're good. You know that you could survive. You know that you could make it through, because the challenges would come. I remember once I heard the example of a rose. Even when the rose blossoming, it's painful for the rose because the rose changing form. If you sit bend like this all the time, yes, when you straighten back out your legs, it would be a little painful because a change happening, but eventually you just get accustomed to it and you just move on from it. So you go through it because that's the fun in it.
People don't want fun. People want comfort.
Yeah. Comfort and convenience. Heard it all too well. We want the comfort and the convenience. And you can't grow, and you cannot grow in comfort. If you plant the seed and the seed say, oh, and here so nice and warm, you'll never get the mango tree. Because, oh, and here nice and warm, I'll stay right here, and the seed will just stay right there and rot. The mango tree will never bloom. So,
and rot.
Yeah, and
it
rot.
Will stay there and rot.
And
so
decay,
staying in one place, you think that, oh, I'm not expanding, I'm not going into the scary thing. That choice that you have made to stay in the exact same spot, you will just rot. Just like the seed. You're not making a decision that's like saving you from not experiencing change. You're making the decision that's keeping you stuck and it's making you sick
and depressed or angry because you're frustrated within yourself, especially when you go on social media. We like to compare. But I really have this thing, like say for nails, I really have this thing to do nails, and then you're seeing, look, my neighbor started to do it and how she blooming, and then you vex within yourself, but you have yourself vexed. You have yourself sad because you keeping yourself stuck in that space. So get up and get it. Get up and I think what we tend to do is we tend to want to have the whole picture, and is understanding that is one step at a time, just one foot in front of the other, and eventually the whole picture would play out eventually when you look back, whatever. So you don't have to have all these steps, you don't have to know everything. If I tell anybody I would be here a year ago, but then I had to get a year ago around this time, I probably was crying on my bed was so depressed, and I had to get up and get it done. You had to get up, come out of it, and then watch yourself grow. And it would take time, as with anything else. Rome wasn't built in a day. A tree don't come up in a day. So you watch yourself grow one step at a time, and you just do what you have to do. If rain fall today and it blow you to the side, you're still standing wrong, but you just know, all right, I'm blowing to the side, the rain going to stop. The sun going to come back up. The sun too hot, my leaf burning up, all right. Rain going to start back to fall, and you just keep on moving. Even in the difficulty, you keep on moving. And I remember having that conversation with someone, and I still use the word, but I try to take it out of my. I'm working on taking it out of my vocabulary in terms of the word challenges and problems, because I don't use that word, you know. I don't. If I use it, it's jokingly, but outside of that, I don't. But when you use the word problem, you tend to see it as hard, and you tend to see it as you can't really go through it, and you tend to see the thing as bigger than you. But when you use it, the word challenging, you tend to see it as, oh, this might have some difficulty in it, but I could get through it. So I tend to use challenging, and Befitment promotes challenging. Things are challenging. It's not a problem. You creating the problems because the challenge is there, and you deciding that you don't want to grow from it, so you're depressed, you're angry, you're frustrated. You creating the problem within yourself. But the challenge is there, and you push through. Pushed as different. It songs, and people tend to say, but it sounds so easy. I tell people, it is challenging. It is difficult. It's going to have the painful days. It's not a walk in the park, but you push through and you get it done, because life is about you. Life is about your journey and your experience, and you don't want that you turn 65, 75, 95 and you're sitting there like, what I really do with my life? You want that, you know, I did the best. I had the best experience, whatever that may look like, because everybody not going to be the millionaire. Everybody not going to be the homeless. Life is about balance. The world tries to. If everybody's billionaires, then it would have a tilt. If everybody homeless, it would have a tilt. It have to have balance. If every day is day, then it's night and day in everything. When you pay attention to nature have balance. Nature have seasons. Nature have time where they rest. Nature have time where they go into reflection. Winter time, the leaves fall off. It goes into reflection. Then spring would come, it starts to blossom. July, August, around that time, according to the tree. It's in full bloom, enjoying its productivity, and then it goes back into rest and fall. It shakes off the things that no longer required, go back into reflection, and then it be again for the next year. And I think like it's the same thing with life. You always have to stop and do that check-in, shake off the things that no longer required in life for you, because then you're keeping back yourself. And the only person you really hurting is yourself, nobody else. And that is people, places, and things. Sometimes it means moving out of the household. Sometimes it means letting go of the relationship. Whether it's friendship, whether it's a romantic relationship. Whether it's a job. Every day you're going to work, you're frustrated, you're coming home, you're shouting at the children because you're frustrated. Sometimes it means, all right, I hear, but let me look for something else to do in the meantime. So when that come, okay, this is the backup plan. You spend that time and you shake off the things that no longer required. Because think about it, you're climbing an uphill with a lot of baggage that no longer required. You just slowing down yourself. So shake it off and head up with your water and the essentials that you need for the climb. Mm-hmm. Something happened to you when you was 5. And you're 65 and you're still talking about it. That's 60 years after. That is 60 years that you carrying that around. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yep. I feel like we can keep going on forever. So we're going to cut off this episode now. Thank you so much, Nicola, for joining us. Don't forget to follow Befitment on Instagram and Facebook, and download the app. Either on the Play Store or iOS for Apple Store.
Yeah. And in the app there, because how the app is, well, my phone is over there, but there are different sections. So it's confidential, first of all, and it's a self-help tool that you could get help without anybody knowing that you're getting help. So you could be sitting down on a beach doing counseling and nobody knows because they think that you're having a regular phone call. Or you could be going through the sections. So we have things like depression, stress and anxiety, productivity, anger and control. We have a lot. Success, organic living. So you could be there and it's updated regularly. So you could be there getting the help that you need. And nobody knows. Because again, we live in the Caribbean where mental health is taboo. So if you're seeking mental health, it means that you're crazy. It means that something is wrong with you. For the most part, and that's not what it is. You're just going through a little challenge. So you can check out the app. You can download it. And you can get the help that you need quietly. Nobody has to know. They would just see the change when they realize, Simone, what you doing differently? Oh, Befitment app. I was checking out the app. So check it out.